Um, I am sorry, but this video is a week late, so I'm doing it now before I forget. Now, what happened in Kansas? Now, the Americans know that rights are not just a suggestion. The right-wingers had thought that they had a foolproof game plan in Kansas, and it fell apart, and this could change everything. Now, pundits have been wearing out their thumbs on Twitter ever since the results of the Kansas referendum and the abortion came in on Tuesday night. The victory on the no side against amending the state constitution to remove its protection of abortion rights was a decisive 59 to 41% vote, and voting yes in the referendum meant that the Constitution could be amended and laws further restricting or banning abortion entirely could be passed in the state. Um, now the Repugs had made the vote confusing on purpose, and to a casual observer, a no vote might seem to mean you were against abortion rights, and a yes vote that you were for abortion, when in fact it was the other way around. The state Republican Party also scheduled the vote on a primary day in August, when turnout is typically much heavier for the GOP in a state where Republicans outnumber Democrats almost 2 to 1 and frequently have competitive primary contests, while Democrats really do and their voters often don't bother to show up. Furthermore, the Republicans were betting that turnout among independents would be low because they are not permitted to vote in either party's primaries. Now that strategy failed across the fucking board. Turnout among Democrats was high as it was among independents, not all of them apparently driven to the polls by the abortion referendum on the ballot. The vote by the political party was not monolithic, either, while many Republicans crossing over to vote no. Even in the conservative rural counties of West Virginia of western Kansas, which Donald Trump carried by lopsided margins in 2020, the vote against the referendum measure was in the range of 40%, meaning that many Republicans voted to preserve the abortion rights. Now, the Republicans put this referendum on the ballot because back in 2019, the state Supreme Court decision voted on a 6-to-1 count. They basically voted and found that the Kansas Constitution protects a woman's right to abortion. Now, why did a conservative court in a conservative state find a right to abortion in the state constitution where the word abortion did not appear? Because of the first sentence of the Kansas Constitution's Bill of Rights, which it borrows from the language of the Declaration of Independence, all men are possessed of equal and inalienable natural rights, among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the court wrote. So we conclude that through the language in Section 1, the state's founders acknowledged that the people had rights that pre-existed the formation of the Kansas government. There they listed several of these natural inalienable rights, deliberately choosing language of the Declaration of Independence by a vote of 42 to 6. Now we are now asked, is this Declaration of Rights more than an idealized aspiration? And if so, do the substantive rights include a woman's right to make a decision about her body, including the decision whether to continue her pregnancy? We answer these questions, fucking yes they do. Included that limited category is the right of a personal anatomy. It includes the ability to control one's own body, to assert bodily integrity, and to exercise self-determination. This right allows a woman to make her own decisions regarding her body, health, family formation, and family life decisions that can include whether to continue that pregnancy. Now, the word resounding comes to mind, doesn't it? It was the decision of the Kansas Supreme Court that was on the ballot last Tuesday. And did Kansas believe that their state and its government were founded on principles that were worth standing by? And did they, in the words of the courts, believe that their Constitution's words were more than an idealized aspiration? Now, that's what the vote was all about. Did the words that founded the nation and were then employed to found the state of Kansas have any meaning? Voters were being asked, in effect, whether the word rights has a meaning. Now, both in the federal and state constitution both the federal and state constitutions, they have their own Bill of Rights. They are not bills of doubts, or bills of exceptions, or bills of maybes, or bills of questions. The Constitution of the United States is said to be the Supreme Court law of the land, just as the Constitution of Kansas is the supreme law of the state. And they are not suggestions, they are laws. You don't get to vote on laws very often, but you do vote for people who represent you. And those people make those laws. But this time, Kansas gets a chance to vote on that law that grants a woman the right to control her own body, and they voted for it yes resoundingly. The question now is whether that vote will translate into votes in Kansas and other states for people who make the laws that respect the principles this country was founded on, or whether so-called conservatives will continue to vote for people who make laws of convenience or laws crafted to fit in with their other principles, such as those that are founded in religious texts or political rhetoric. The New York Times had published a story after the vote on Tuesday, suggesting that if polling on abortion rights reflected how voters around the country might decide similar referendums in other states, Around 65% of the voters nationwide will reject a similar initiative to roll back the abortion rights, including in more than 40 of the 50 states. Now, Republicans may be rigid, but they aren't fucking stupid. Technically, they are. The Times story and those numbers can be counted on to assure that Republicans will resist every movement to put the right to abortion up to popular votes in states across the nation. Now, though the vote in Kansas is cause for celebration, the answer to how much it matters will come in November, when voters in all 50 states go to the polls and they are faced with a reality that has been there all along. It's not just about who you're voting for; it's about what you fucking stand for. Sorry about that. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little as a few bucks a month, your donation can help go a long way. And thanks for listening.